we live? Yep, we're good. Hello and welcome to the official first live stream on the Mind to Mind channel. How are we all doing? You all good? We're all good. So it's early June. The international football is officially over. So I just want to sort of give my little 2 cents onto where we're at, where we're going, what is the story basically. So we'll start with the ins and a few of the mega stories. Now, I'm not here to profess that I'm in the know at all. I'm just sort of, I do my research. I like to listen to a lot of football news. I watch a lot of YouTube channels. So I am basically just going to give you my 2 cents on what I think is going on the matter. So we'll start with the ins, like I said. Bruno Fernandes, big and good news in that sense in regarding him coming to Man United. I don't know if many of you would have seen him play for Portugal in the Nations League final and against Switzerland. He looked quite good in the final, I think. Yeah, I thought he looked. I thought he looked really good in the final. He looked like a good attacking threat. Had a few shots. If he had his shooting boots on, it may have been a bit of a different story. But he looked bright. I think he knew the world was watching. So in that sense, he looked good. He looked like if we signed him, it'd be an upgrade on the likes of Wan-Bissaka, who's losing all his pace. Jesse Lingard, who, to be honest, I like Lingard as a player. He brings a lot to the team in regards to morale and a bit of banter, but he's been absolutely shocking for the last 12 months, bar maybe a couple of spells here and there. So yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes is all looking good on that sort of sense. Rumours are apparently we're going to give him offer Sporting Lisbon 55 million plus, I think going up to maybe 70 million in add-ons, which is bang on for me, absolutely spot on. If we can manage to pull that off, it's happy days in my opinion. Happy days. There's rumours apparently Liverpool are sniffing about, but I just kind of think that's maybe Sporting or Bruno Fernandes' agent sort of maybe throwing in a few bit of issues or people who might be as well interested to kind of raise the bar and raise the price on what United are going to pay in regards to fees and wages, which is normal. But I think as a Man United supporter, I think I'm not worried about the Bruno Fernandes deal, and if he signs, I'll be absolutely buzzing because I tell you what, you imagine a midfield of a Bruno Fernandes and a Pogba and a proper CDM. But we'll get on to Paul Pogba shortly, whether or not he'll even be able to be in that 3-man midfield, if we even go with a 3-man midfield. So yeah, in regards to Bruno Fernandes, it's looking good. I'll be over the moon if we sell him. If we buy him. Expect it. Hopefully before the end of next week. I reckon he could probably be done by the end of this week. Hopefully. He's obviously going to be going on holiday, so it'd be nice to get that done early doors. Let him go on holiday, then he's back for early July, back for pre-season and going on tour and really get into what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants him to do next season. I think he could be a mega key instrument in hopefully getting what Ole wants next season. Next, we'll go on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So apparently United have had a £40 million bid rejected. And this is coming off Sky Sports. Whether or not you believe in the reliability of Sky Sports is something that you've got to consider yourself. However, they're not, I think over the last couple of years, they've probably ruined their reputation as a tier 1 a tier 1 news sort of breaking news platform. But if they do sort of come out with a bit of news, you do take notice. Whether or not you 100% believe it is a different story. However, I do believe that there is something in that. 40 million, I think that United knew he was getting rejected by offering 40 million. I think Edward Wood's a businessman. He's a clever man. If he was a footballing man, he maybe goes in there with a higher bid and just says, look, let's just get him. But I think, like I said, Edward Wood's a businessman, so he will definitely be trying to gain the best deal possible. Which, from a Man United supporter's perspective, I don't care. I don't really care too much about what we pay for our players, because at the end of the day, we're the richest club in the world, and over the last 6 years, we as fans have been absolutely shat on by the club. Although over the last, say, 20 odd years under Fergie, we were spoiled, but we're the biggest club in the world, and we shouldn't be haggling over 2, 3, 4 million. But at the end of the day, Edward Wood is the CEO. Whether or not you like it or you don't, it is what it is. He wouldn't be there if he didn't have some kind of skill and expertise in finance. So let's just hope that he can get that one over the deal. So apparently that 40 million was rejected, but United are going to prepare to bring in another bid in the region of £50 million, which would make him our most expensive defender in history. I believe 50 million will probably be rejected as well, and then we'll go in with a third bid between 55 and 60 million, which I believe probably would be accepted. Because you've got to remember, Crystal Palace don't need to sell. They don't want to sell. They know they've got a brilliant young prospect, good defender in their grasp. If they hold him on for another year and he has another good season, with the way that transfer prices are going next year, he could probably most likely go for more. So in that sense, it's a difficult one, but I do think we will get him. I think on that right back position, Ashley Young, I don't want to go too into Ashley Young, but I think we all know he's not good enough. He's not a right back, and we need better. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, solid defender. Probably one of the best defenders in the league, and Liverpool supporters are jumping at, oh, fucking Trent Alexander-Arnold's the best defender right back in the league. Yeah, all right, he's decent. Yeah, he probably is the best right back in the league. But fuck me, you say anything against them, they're fucking right on your toes just because they've finally got they've got a very, very, very good team for the first time in nearly 30 years. So be a bit humble. Win and lose humbly is what I would say. But if I was a Liverpool supporter, I'd still be drunk of the Champions League final. So credit where credit is due. But that's not to take away from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think if we signed him, that solves a problem that we have. My only concern in that sense is two things. First of all, the price. Now, although United are the richest club in the world, we make the most revenue. I don't think that we're going to spend over 200 million, 250 at a push, but I don't think we're going to spend over 200 million. We will spend money because the Glazers and the owners will want to get us back into top four, but will we spend big enough dough to get us back on the map? And if we spend in 50, 60 million on a right back, that leaves us with 140 odd million for a right winger, 2 centre midfielders, a centre back, and maybe even a keeper if the hay goes. So, but I do believe that push comes to shove, the club will spend, because at the end of the day, like I've said in other videos, if the club don't spend big this summer, kiss goodbye to us being a major club in the world of football. We will become what Arsenal have become over the last 10 years. Nothing against Arsenal, but them like us have got American owners that penny pinch. I think their owner wasn't even at the Europa League final against Chelsea, which I think is actually disgusting, but is what it is, as they say. The low is another issue in the Aaron Wan-Bissaka transfer, because it's like we bought him last year. He's 19 years old. He's a young, up and coming right back. He's suspect defensively, very suspect defensively, in fact. But going forward, he's actually shown what he can do. And, that is the criticism of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, in the sense of defensively he's good, but going forward is where it seems to be his weakness. However, obviously he plays for Crystal Palace, so it could be argued how often will he get the opportunity to go forward? But bringing Wan-Bissaka in, is that going to stunt the growth of Delo? I think you've got to remember Delo's 19, going on 20, and he's still a young lad. He's still getting used to the league. And to be quite honest with you, the more quality and backup we've got at right and left back, the better. Because I think in the way that modern football is going now, the fullback is probably one of the most important positions on the pitch. So if we've got quality stacked up there, Delo and showing that he can play right and left back. So if you've got Delo as an understudy to Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, getting used to the league, growing, developing. If Shaw's not playing well, Delo can play left back. If Wan-Bissaka's not playing well, we can go in right back. If there's suspensions, if there's injuries, he can fill in. So I think we actually would be in a good position in our fullback positions if we do bring in Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, you may then have an issue further down the line as to if you are able to keep Delo as backup when he actually is what we all think he can be, is a very, very good attacking fullback. But at the end of the day, you've got to cover your situation. You've got to make sure that you got cover. And I do not want to see Ashley Young. If Delo means that there's no more Ashley Young, thank you. Because at the end of the day, he is a left winger who played under Fergie, who was converted and is now playing fullback for us. So, I think we can all agree that no more Ashley Young is a good thing. Although he is a good lad, he's probably good in the dressing room. But to be honest, I don't really see that much leadership in him. I just see a bit of gobbing off. Do you know what I mean? A bit of gobbing off. But yeah, the sooner the better that we see much more of Ashley Young. I think we will sign Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so hopefully that will be good. Next, we will go on to Harry Maguire, because apparently I think our top two targets was De Ligt and Koulibaly. It looks like the Koulibaly deal is no longer just there's no news about it. I think if we want him, we're going to have to spend over £100 million. I would pay it, but I think it's like when you've got Koulibaly's 27, 28, you pay £100 million. You've probably got him at his absolute peak for 3 to 4 ish years. But then you look alternatively, there's De Ligt. Now, in regards to De Ligt, I have believed that we will sign De Ligt. This is just based on my sort of beliefs in reading the news and seeing the way that things have gone. I do believe there is a good possibility that we get De Ligt because of the simple fact that we will offer the most money. And you'll get haters going. One of the Barcelona chief executives said that going to United is like going to the Chinese league. Bitter. Sit down, mate. Sit down. It's not. At the end of the day, we're a fallen giant. Last season we come sixth. Season before that we come second. So, and we got to a Champions League quarter final. So how is that? You know what I mean? We're going through a rough patch. But even during our dark years, which have been the last 6 years, we've won trophies. We won the FA Cup. We've won the League Cup. We've won the Europa League Cup. You know what I mean? So we, in our darkest times, we've still done the business. We've still won trophies. We finished second last year. Don't get me wrong. We finished sixth last year, and sixth before that, and fifth. And we're not anywhere near where we need to be. But to say that we're like the Chinese league, I think sit down, you bitter Don. And I think what that will show is a good hint that De Ligt will not be going to Barcelona. So that leaves PSG, Juventus, us, and Liverpool. Really, I think that it's come out in the news since De Ligt finished the Nations League that what he's looking for, and the major thing he is looking for in regards to where he wants to go next, is that he wants to be assured that he's going to get first team football. Will he get that at United? Absolutely, no doubt about it. Will he get that at Liverpool? You would expect him to, but the reason why I don't think he will go Liverpool is because they've got Gomez, who looks a young, good prospect before he was injured. I think he's back now. You've got Matip, you've got Lovren. So I don't really see him going Liverpool unless they get rid of who they've currently got. So I do rule Liverpool out of this one. But if he does go there, I'm probably not going to watch football for the next 10 years. Then you obviously Barcelona, but the kind of news is coming out is maybe hinting that maybe he won't go Barcelona. And I'll tell you, there are some quotes that make me think that it's very likely he will not go Barcelona. He come out and said basically that it would be good to play with Frankie de Jong, who's obviously his teammate from Ajax, who was signing for Barcelona. However, he doesn't think it's the right time. And it has also come out that apparently people close to De Ligt have advised him, obviously, to go to somewhere where he will get first team football. And that if he goes and performs well in 3 or 4 years, that is when Barcelona will come for him when he's 22, 23, 24, 25. And they will pay whatever it is for him. And he'll go there and he'll be the main man. Now, as a United supporter, do you like that idea? Do you like the idea of De Ligt coming to us for a couple of years and with the sole aim of them going to Barcelona? I think that was Pogba's idea, and we'll get onto Pogba shortly. But I do think that was Pogba's plan. Yeah, I would. I think we need top class defenders, and I'm not going to lie. I think if De Ligt come to United, after he gets a feel for the club, we're back winning titles. He's playing at Old Trafford. It's a possibility that he might go. You know what? Actually, I think I like it here. Maybe I want to follow in the footsteps of maybe like a Van der Sar and then my career here. But wishful thinking. But yeah, there might be something to consider. And then that takes us on to do we just sort but he has said that he's going on holiday for 2 weeks and he won't decide for another 2 weeks. So that makes you think, hang on, have we got the ability to sit and not sign a centre back for 2 weeks in the hope that we get De Ligt? Can we take that risk? Because if you wait 2 weeks, we don't get De Ligt, the likes of Harry Maguire might think, hang on, I'm third or fourth choice here. F you, MUFC, F you. So it's a difficult. It's a difficult one to. It's a difficult one to consider. On to Harry Maguire. I like him. I really like him. He's tall. He's strong. Dominant in the air. Slab-head. Can pass. The only downfall about Maguire is that you're going to have to spend up north of £65 million. Is he worth it? Was Van Dijk worth 75 million when you paid for it? No, at the time, but now looking back, he's probably worth nearly double that. So, I wouldn't look too much into the money. If we signed Harry Maguire, I'd be over the moon, to be honest. I think he's a solid centre back. He's British. He would have grown up when United were at their pomp under Fergie, so he knows what United should be. I'd be very happy with Maguire. I'd be very, very happy with Maguire. It's just whether or not you're going to get De Ligt. So, but personally, I'd think, you know what, De Ligt, if you're playing games, mate, do one. If you want to come in, you want to grow, and you want to, be part of the history of this club, getting us back to where you want to be, we'll offer you up with arms. We'll pay you 15 million fucking euros a year or something like that. Sweet. But if you're going to mess us about with Mina Raiola, I'd just do one, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's up, it's a weird one. And then last but not least, Gareth Bale. What's your opinions on Bale? Let me know. But you know what? If we signed him for 70, 80 million, I'd be fuming. I'd probably wait outside Old Trafford for Edward Wood and fly kick the fucker. But there's news going about that we can get him on loan, and I think he immediately resolves our right wing problem. And you know what the best thing about it is, right? If we get him on loan for a year, get back in the Champions League, F's off back to Madrid next year, we can then go and get maybe a Jadon Sancho for right wing next year, because he's not going to come to us unless we've got Champions League football, and that's best case scenario, surely. Do you know what I mean? I think and then you've got a lot of people getting fuming about signing Bale. Listen, boys, as hard this is to come to terms with, we are not or anywhere near where we used to be. So to be coming out and saying, no, don't get Gareth Bale, he's not this, he's not that, we're not in any position to be making those kind of decisions, boys. Gareth Bale would be phenomenal for us. The only problem is his injury record. That is the only problem. Do I think we'll get him? I think Edward Wood, I reckon it's a 7 out of 10 possibility. I think he should do it. I think we should go for it. Get him on loan for a year. you know, you can play. We signed that new fella, Dan James. You've got him who could potentially play on the right if Bale's not available. Jesse Lingard. Sorry, I nearly got sick thinking of Jesse Lingard starting week in, week out for us next year. And then you've also got Wan-Bissaka who maybe not be here next season. So, you know, and then just sign him up. Just pay his wages, get him off the wage book for Madrid, bill for Madrid. Although negotiations with Madrid may then open up opportunities of Pogba going. Pogba, I'll tell you what, the saga of Pogba is almost like the saga of Ronaldo, except it's worse. Because you know the player wants to go and you know he doesn't want to be here. Do you blame him? It's a difficult one, lads. It's a difficult one. It really is. But me personally, I think ignore any bid for Pogba next year. He needs to be with us next season, get us back into the top four. Then he can go back then he can go to Madrid next year for 120, 30 million, whatever. And we'll go from there. On the outs, David De Gea. News broke recently of Oblak, the Atletico Madrid keeper, saying that he wants out of Madrid. And that he's apparently a Man United fan. And he's got 103 million euro buyout clause. He, you know, if you said to me, okay, De Gea's going to go and you're going to replace him with Oblak, I'll be, okay, sweet, mate. I'm disappointed with the De Gea saga, but I don't think it's as... I don't think it's as it seems, because you've got to think, De Gea, your last 6 years, he's been our absolute best player. And then we bring in Alexis Sanchez and he F's up our wage bill. And then all of a sudden, you know, our top players want the same as him. And now we're going, oh, no, we're not going to pay De Gea anywhere near that because we're not prepared to when he's been our best player. Like the board have absolutely done the club over in regards to the wage structure. And now when our top players that we need to keep to get us back to the top are asking for that money, they're saying no, and it means that they're obviously now going to go elsewhere because De Gea is got one season left with us. Boys, the board, like what? I don't know, but yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Do I think De Gea's going to go? I think he will. To be honest, there's news apparently of PSG wanting Navas. And I think PSG is probably the only place where De Gea would go. Maybe Juventus, but you know, Szczesny's kind of done well for them the last few years. But you know, you don't say no to De Gea, especially if you're going to get him for free next year or for 50, 60 million this year. But does that mean if Navas goes to PSG, do Real Madrid buy De Gea and then it's De Gea Courtois? But you kind of think, would they really? I don't know. Maybe De Gea's just holding out for he wants to stay at United. I reckon, you know, he must want to stay at United. You know, we'll finally maybe potentially getting back to the top. He's been with us through the dark age. Now it's time for him to win something mega with us. But he's just waiting for the board to give him the money that he deserves. I wouldn't bank on that, but you never know. But anyway, lads, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, first ever live stream. And plenty more to come. So please do like, subscribe, and comment down below anything you think that I've said. I'll shout you out on the next episode. And yeah, boys, sweet lads, in a bit.